and me.
Okie dokie, let's do this.
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right, man. Like I told you a couple days ago.
Yep.
I need to talk more about Epstein.
Okay.
I just have to.
What more is there to talk about?
To me, I just want to talk about the nature of what's happening right now with them not releasing anything.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why? What could possibly, like, obviously, like, if you want to do a deeper dive on stuff, like, we can do that a different day, but I want to know what is going on right now.
Why files are on her desk. Right here. Let me hold them up and show you. They're all right here.
So, right, Adam, real quick, play A1. This before we play, this is Pam Bondi went on Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
And he asked, like, again, this is
what's the deal?
This is after she said files are on my desk.
Yep.
This is after the influencers got all the binders, and then all that shit went down, right? And then this is after that, the blowback.
Let me start with the Epstein case, because there was an expectation that this was going to be bigger. You had the same expectation.
We all did.
Imagine my surprise.
I was shocked. There was only 7 pages.
I thought we were releasing it all.
I thought I had it all when I gave out all these fucking binders to everybody. I was under the assumption I gave it all.
You know, Sean, you're not the first person to ask. All the social media influencers wanted to know how come they don't have more pages too. What the fuck?
Right. Exactly. Like that very first thing. It's on my desk for review.
Nobody's more surprised than me.
That fucking thing. When I saw that and her fucking, that feigning, like, oh my. No, exactly. Nobody is more surprised than me.
Somebody slap her.
Oh my.
Where's Sean Connery when you need him? Slap that.
Sean Hannity should have slapped her. I mean, I know she's the AG, but come on. You gotta.
You gotta hit the reset button.
What does Sean Connery say? Sometimes you have to give him a fresh one.
Little smack. Fresh pop.
A fresh one. I think he called it a fresh one.
Yeah.
All right, man.
And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But
when you got those couple hundred pages, you didn't say, where's the rest of it?
Yeah.
You still went through the bullshit charade of putting them in fucking binders?
Where's the 14,000 that we just found?
Yeah, those, where are they?
Those pages that we just found in the back of the office that no one's seen.
Oh, this made me so fucking mad. I'm like, I just have to, like, we don't have to go deep, but I want to fucking scream. So I this lady. Fuck.
Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything, and a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course.
Is it?
And Cash is going to, Director Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay.
Cut the shit.
Cut the shit, lady.
I'm just gonna say, cut the shit, lady.
That's what he should have said.
Yeah.
Like, give me a fucking break.
Okay. You know nobody buys that, right? Pam?
How? The
Saying
thing
Pam
is,
or Pan?
Pan?
I think I can help out on the old Pan
Fuck, man.
situation.
That's the thing. So we haven't got any of the files yet, right?
Yeah.
Except for what she released. She said the binder. Oh, she was shocked. Like, why was she shocked when this was handed to you? You went through the bullshit of putting it in a binder.
Well, she knows there's thousands of pages. If she knows that in advance, and she gets a binder with 200.
At least, do you remember this was
a little light.
I can't remember if this was at Epstein Island or his place in Florida, but FBI was in there along with NYPD for some reason.
That was the Florida raid, I think.
Was it the Florida? Okay. So somebody put up a drone, and you could see everybody in the house, and they have boxes and boxes of shit.
It looked like the Diddy shit where they were just leaving with like U-Haul trucks of boxes.
And they even like, they took pictures of it and showed, and you could see like tons of shit, labeled evidence, tons of it. Not just the hard drives, which would be all the fucking, I'm assuming, the sex acts and shit like that, but physical evidence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's this, I wish I could remember this guy's name, but he's a former FBI agent. He's got his own show now. And he was talking about when she's saying that all these files and everything are held in the district, the New York district office. He's like, that's bullshit. He's like, if you're under the impression that they're just bringing you like boxes full of papers,
just stack it over there, boys.
Like, yeah, that's bullshit. It's like everything gets put onto DVD drives and it's all on the internet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think he called it like Cerberus or something like that, the thing that they use. And like,
probably their own private dedicated server.
It's like, yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Because in my mind, when fucking I'm hearing Pam Bondi and you hear the Epstein files, you think old school, like, here's the stack them over there, boys. Just
like you're thumbing through the letters, looking for the different.
Pedophile. Oh,
Yeah.
Clinton. Okay, no, It's all on a drive, and that makes sense. So it's searchable and it's there. It's permanent for everybody to see all over the United States.
It's 2025 for God's sake.
Correct. So it's not like they're hiding these things in New York in some back office.
Yeah.
It all has to be on there.
Shocker.
Maybe physical evidence is there, right? The
Right.
stuff that they took from the Florida home, shit like that. But you're full of shit, right? So you go through the fucking whole bullshit of giving these influencers their binders when you know this isn't everything and not
Yeah.
even close to everything. You feign the disappointment on Hannity. And then where do we go from there? We got the deadline, right? The
infamous
February
deadline.
28th deadline. They have to whatever. And then she's like, all right, I've got a truckload of stuff coming to the office, right? Okay. I'm waiting for the FBI to go. It's here now. We're waiting for the FBI to go through it. Didn't it just come from the FBI?
Well,
Hang on it. Wait a second.
it did, but it had to
But-
get to the right hands in the FBI. There's a process. It starts at the low-level guy who takes it at the door, and then they've got to
Right. He talks
Move
to the,
it.
He's a people person. He talks to the engineers.
He works with people.
He's a people
So-
person.
Right.
It goes to the FBI, but FBI have not reviewed it yet.
Right.
So, like,
Yeah.
Is
Perfect.
that how that works? Like, what
It's
the
gotta
fuck are you
be.
talking about? So, again, that's got to go through the FBI. And then she says, we're going to release everything.
It's got to go back through the FBI because now that they have all the pages they didn't release, they have to see what they can redact and what they can't. That's what it is. It's going through. Let's just call it editing.
Exactly.
It's on the editor's floor right now.
And then this is what really got me, besides the bullshit fucking show she just put on Hannity, is she says, we have to go through things and make sure things are redacted that are
Yeah, to protect
pertinent to-
victims.
No. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Pertinent to national security.
What national security?
Yeah, I have questions.
What does
you
a
mean like presidents and fucking people of power that have, dude,
what pedophile ring?
needs to be protected.
What national security interests are at play?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what got me.
How
I'm
is
like,
that a national security risk?
Well,
Well,
that-
a pedophile's a pedophile.
That's what got me, and I'm like, did she just fucking like
Yeah.
say everything right there?
Kind of did.
Right?
Did she just say the quiet part out loud?
Kind of just said the quiet part out loud.
So that's what got me, like, and then I started going through some backlog stuff. Like, if you've ever, do you know who Daryl Cooper is?
No.
He's like he worked for Defense Department in some capacity, and then was like an amateur historian. I don't even know if there are professional historians other than teachers, but like on his podcast, he goes very deep. He'll like put out one episode every 6 months. He goes super deep in research on things, and he did a 6-hour bit on Epstein. So I went and listened to a lot of that. Some of the stuff is super dark when they talk about previous pedophile
Yeah.
rings. Super dark. But I went back and listened to some stuff that got me, because the national security thing got me thinking. I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? And I told you about that book from Whitney Webb. Like, there's no way I was going back and reading that again right now. But that's a deep, deep dive into possible national security reasons involving these blackmail rings. What do you think, like, in your mind, like, this is a real question here, not a setup or anything.
Yeah.
Like, what in your mind could be of national security that we'd have to redact?
So I think two things right off the bat. Obviously, at face value, the obvious that there are people involved in these that have held higher power, whether it's office, governmental positions, whatever.
But don't you think if it was just a person, like if Bill Clinton, they would love to
So
roast
that,
a Democrat,
that
right?
gets me to my second point. What if we had a hand in this, facilitating this? We were partners, just like the fucking Wuhan lab. You know, like, what if we knew what was going on because Israel's our greatest ally, and if he's a Mossad agent, and it all ties back to Israel. What if we were partners on this and gave ourselves plausible deniability by just funding things or being in on things or supplying things or trafficking things or allowing and turning our heads? If people found out that we as a government, once again, in many situations, are not the fucking good guys that we constantly tell ourselves we are, or pat ourselves on the back, or the history that we've learned, that's kind of damning. Those are the only two things I can think of.
Kind of the way we use NGOs and USAID to topple governments and fund wars. Kind of
Fuck yeah.
the American way,
very,
baby,
very similar to that.
right? That's what.
It's like that meme where it's like, what was it? Like, they found minerals in Ukraine, and the eagle turns his head and it goes, you mean we found minerals in Ukraine?
Sounds like Ukraine needs some democracy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only two things I can think of is the threat to our national security is more people's eyes opening or looking at us. Or again, this is all just hypothetical. This isn't known for sure, but the possibility of American people looking at our government going, fuck that. Not a chance. Like, what happens then?
Exactly. Because, like I was just saying, like, if it was just a person, if it was a
Yeah.
Democratic influencer or somebody highly influential, Bill
Actor.
Gates, Bill Clinton,
Right.
yeah, some fucking lefty actor, they would love nothing more than to release that and let them fucking drown. Right?
Absolutely.
They would love that.
So the bigger question comes then, why aren't we seeing 9/11 files, JFK files, MLK files? Like, is it going to be the same thing? You know what I mean?
I think the JFK for sure.
The conspiracy theory files behind that, they all have something in common, and it has to do with a certain country.
Don't say it.
Other than the U.S. I'm not going to say it because I want this video to stay on, but it has to do with another country.
So we are, obviously we're not fucking journalists or anything. We're just going off of what other
Just dumb
people-
dudes connecting dots.
Yeah, what I mean,
Fucking
other
trying to color pictures.
Just connect
other people
Eating
who have
crayons.
connected dots, like Daryl Cooper, Whitney Webb, they've connected dots.
Yeah.
And I'm just going off what they say makes so much sense. I would highly encourage everybody to listen to Daryl Cooper's podcast called Martyr Made. Check out Whitney Webb's book.
Yeah,
what was it called, Steve?
It's called the One Nation Under Blackmail.
One Nation Under Blackmail. It is a heavy read, so be prepared. But it's highly researched and very referenced. So, I mean, if you're in doubt of anything that she's saying, look it up. She gives you the reference. So I would do that as opposed to listening to us. But there has been ties to Israeli intelligence.
Yeah.
Right. And apparently, like, I don't know how Israeli intelligence works, but it makes sense that, like, Mossad is one thing, but then they have military intelligence. And
Yeah.
apparently his might have been more of a military intelligence tie.
Okay.
I don't want to go super deep on it because I'll mess a lot of stuff up, but the connection's there. And let's say that connection is there, that there is ties to Israeli intelligence in U.S. intelligence going back and forth. Because obviously there's the famous thing from Acosta being the judge saying, hey, I was told to leave him alone. He's connected to intelligence. How does he?
Above my pay grade.
Above my pay
Yep.
grade. Quote, right? So if that's out there, what does that mean for a lot of fucking things? Let's assume that's the case.
Well, and that would make more sense than saying, like, he was a Mossad agent. If he was military intelligence and Israel's our greatest ally and we have this connection militaristically with Israel, that would make more sense that he was protected.
Do you think he's still alive?
Epstein?
Yeah, you
No.
think that was really him dead in this? Like, because there's
Yeah.
a lot floating around about how that was not him dead.
He from by all accounts from again, people that know a hell of a lot more than I do, he just became expendable. Like, and once you're expendable,
Yeah, you got to burn all the evidence, man.
unalive him, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck it. I mean, it makes sense. Get rid of him. Like, he's not the guy. He's not even
Right.
close to the guy. He was a dude playing a dude.
Disguised as another dude.
Yeah. And he's dead as shit. Guaranteed.
You can't have loose ends running around because that dude
he
comes
didn't kill
out.
himself. Then I will go out and say that that's what you're implying.
What did you say?
That, well, I was not supposed to say that.
Did you say he didn't kill himself?
Oh, I'm assuming he didn't unalive himself.
Oh man, I was told he did kill himself.
That's what
Suicide,
the
right?
news. It was in the
That's-
news. It has to be real.
Even the
Fair
autopsy
enough.
report said he
You know
killed
what? The
himself.
news
Sure.
did say it. My bad. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, there was the guy, the security guard that fell asleep.
Right.
And then the cameras that were fixed on his
We're
cell
off.
went out.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
they
he,
go out sometimes.
and then he saw that was his moment to kill himself.
Perfect timing. Just
he
like
knew
he
the
planned
cameras
it.
were off. He knew the guard was asleep.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. I mean, I buy that.
Yeah.
He had his
That way no
noose
one
or
could stop him.
whatever. Yeah.
The fact that they run that story and expect us to believe it is nonsense.
The worst fact is people do believe it. People are like, oh, yeah.
Either that or everybody's
Total
just so
sense.
jaded that no one fights it. And I was
That's
like, yeah,
exactly like
all
you
right.
talked about it on the last show.
Yeah.
Like, I think
All right.
everyone's just apathetic to it at this point.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, of course they fucking killed him. Knew it. We're never gonna find anything there. On to
Right.
the next one. I think they count on that, right?
Yeah.
But
I think
this,
that's part of it.
this is one of those things. Like, this was the JFK of our time. People have
Oh, for
not
sure.
let go of this.
Absolutely.
Like, fucking let's see it. And that's why when you see Pam Bondi feigning the fucking disappointment and the fucking shock on there,
Yeah.
Oh,
it
no.
makes me.
It's a slap in the face to the American public.
That's why I wanted. It just makes me so fucking mad that they
Well,
expect us to buy this shit.
And I read this thing too that, obviously they talk about the national security issues and obviously victims redacting information to protect the victims. But even the attorney who is representing the victims has said, like, that's fine. Redact the things that protect the victims. But this needs to be public knowledge. There is no national security threat, regardless of what it is. Protect the victims, air all that shit out there. The attorney for the victims said, put it all out there. Put it all on the internet for everybody to see.
What would that do here in the United States for the public support of Israel if we found out that they were running a sex trafficking operation, a blackmail operation here in the United States with our knowledge or without our knowledge? What would that do to our fucking ties with Israel and the public support, right?
People would lose their
They'd have to
Off
find
a cliff.
They'd have to find a way to spin it. I mean, and I'm sure
Like,
they would
but
find a
we
way to
had
try.
do it because ABC, national
We
security.
were preventing
whatever,
World War III, and this is
Yeah.
how we did it.
Whatever.
Iran did it. It was
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah,
Russia.
Russian collusion.
the mothership.
We had to do it. Oh man, that's what got me thinking.
Yeah.
Like, what would that mean to our greatest ally in our relationship? And
But I
the
mean,
support?
even think about it. So hypothetically, that comes out, American outrage for the country of Israel, lack of support. They're still going to have their governmental systems and their backdoors and their USAIDs and all these other shell companies and programs that they still find a way to support and fund, and it's not going away.
But it becomes a lot less easy to do when you have to go below board like we've done for
Yes.
years and funding all these other things like Iran-Contras, rebels, fucking Chechnya, Kosovo, all that shit that has to be done under the table, dark programs.
And I think you
slush
start
funds.
having just a more of an awareness. Like I think it's more common now, obviously, for Americans to distrust the media, distrust the government, distrust politics.
Big
but like
time.
that, even more so, would make people go, okay, how about we see some more actions and not just talk? Because there's a lot of politicians. Everybody's done that forever, right? Politicians lie. Everybody, it's just they tell you what you want to hear. They get in office and they don't do anything. So I think there'd be a lot more held to the fire on the actual accountability of what they say.
Because I think there's been this just series of like red pill moments.
Yeah.
Like it's Epstein.
It's super little though,
COVID.
minor and
Yeah,
minor
it's just
doses.
like, because you'll get like 10,000 people here like, holy shit, red pill. Okay,
Yeah.
this opened my eyes.
And they try telling their
And then
friends, and their
another-
friends are like, no, that's not true. You're
but then
crazy.
in another 2 years, they're like, dude,
You were right.
there's been a couple
Yeah.
things like I've dismissed people like, dude, that's fucking nuts. And I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it takes time.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you've believed one narrative, a line, you have this way of thinking your whole life, and then it takes time to come around.
What do you got, Adam?
I'm just looking at financial stuff because I was having a similar conversation with Ruben earlier today about the greatest ally thing. Because like this might get us in trouble, but I was like, why? My question is like, why?
Use your
right?
words
Like,
carefully.
why is a certain country our greatest ally? And so
Schmizrael.
I just started looking some stuff up, and this little factoid right here says since the end of World War II, we've given them $318 billion in assistance of whatever. But I looked up like how much have they given us, and the answer is like virtually zero. So like,
Zero.
Look how much they've given each individual politician.
That's yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah. APAC.
Yeah, how much
Look
is
up APAC.
APAC given to the politicians
Yeah.
throughout time? I'm gonna say a buttload.
And again, we've talked about it. It's just weird that every politician has an APAC handler.
I do. So I wish
That's bizarre,
Holy
dude.
fuck.
I wish I would. What? Go ahead.
Between the 2023
$318 billion.
dude, between 2023 and 2024, the APACs, their PACs have spent $126.9 million in a year, according to the FEC. In a year.
Yeah.
What
Hey,
the
and you
fuck?
wonder where that money goes if they can actually buy politicians or not.
What the fuck?
Senators.
Hell yes, they can.
Oh, I wish I would have put this into the show because look at Senator Rick Scott from Florida giving a speech from his office. Anything strike you as weird?
Yes. The Star of David in the background?
The gigantic Israel flag.
Well, like we talked about last show, somebody was talking about Bongino in an interview. Like he was speaking about negative things. He couldn't say the country.
Yes.
He couldn't say the name. But then he was asked, what cause is most important?
Near
to you?
and
What
dear
is
to
the
your heart,
nearest
yeah.
and dearest cause of your
Yeah, I
heart?
saw this.
Israel.
Not-
Protecting Israel.
This isn't
He's
even
the
us
deputy
being
director
like.
of the FBI.
How about USA?
We're not even being anti-Semitic. Like,
No,
we're not,
that's not
we're just
anti-Semitic.
but you and I
Pointing
talked
out
about this,
facts.
Steve,
That's the way they want to frame it.
is if you
Right.
this is us. Steve and I have talked about this too. If we're just commenting on the actions of a government of a nation,
Right.
This is
a
nothing
people.
to do with the Jewish people,
Right.
Period.
Well, it's the same thing. The way if you questioned at all the war in Iraq, anything else
Yeah.
going on, you were anti-American. You were
Yeah.
unpatriotic.
Right.
What? You don't want to bomb terrorists? You don't want to kill terrorists?
You okay with them killing Americans? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's
how they frame
wild,
it.
dude. The way they spin this
Yeah.
shit.
And I got this
wild.
one little. I'm gonna do a one-off video about this fucking video I saw. It was like a 3-minute video of Mark Kelly grilling Tulsi Gabbard about and basically calling her a Russian puppet. And I looked at every point he's making. I'm like, you're basically just saying this with zero evidence. And by the way, You're wrong about every single point, and everything she said is 100% accurate, and you're trying to say that they're Putin talking points.
But he's going to get louder so that people hear him more.
Didn't she serve in the Israeli military? Am I getting that
Tulsi
wrong?
Gabbard, she served in our military. She's a
military?
fucking lieutenant colonel
Yeah.
in the United States
She's our
military.
military.
You have
That's
some
right.
fucking respect when you say her name,
Yeah, put some
Adam.
respect on her name. Capital T.
So that's what they do. They just fucking throw these arguments. You're an
fucking
anti-Semite,
wild,
right?
dude.
If you try to question at all Israel's government,
It's kind of like how the left, like the second you disagree with them, you're
A Nazi or a
homophobic, you're
fascist or-
racist.
yeah.
Like
the
there's
same
no
thing.
defense to it. It's just they start name calling.
yeah, they're not
It's
going to
super weird.
argue on your points. They're just going
Yeah.
to call you names, and like it's up to you to fight your way out of that
Fuck
box.
you for asking questions. I guess.
Exactly. That's so. Yeah, that was my whole bit with Epstein. Like, there's obviously a ton of meat on that bone, and you can dig you can dig a hole to China.
You think we're ever going to find out for sure?
Let's go to
No.
the island
After
with some cameras. Let's do it.
Joe-
Fireside
Joe-
Live.
I'm fucking
Joe
in,
Rogan
dude.
said he almost bought the island.
I heard that.
That would've been awesome.
Just to fuck with them.
yeah, just like, that's probably a good movie. Didn't.
I think,
Do I think we're gonna hear about it?
yeah.
After what?
No.
I had a little bit of hope when they said here, and then that whole fucking stunt. I
Yeah.
don't have any hope anymore.
My thought is it's going to drag out. They're going to end up dropping these bombshells. We're going to get maybe 30% of it, and they're going to go, this is it. And it's going to be drug out so long that people are going to go, oh, okay, finally we got it. And they're going to find a way to hide
I think if
70%
it
of it.
comes to, and this is my conclusion I'm drawing right now when they brought up the national security thing, if it comes down to us protecting our relationship with Israel, I would think they will do almost anything to protect that. Take that for what it is. I don't know what that
Yeah.
means or what it looks like, but they'll do it. So no, we're never gonna fucking see it.
Yeah, I agree with John. I don't think we're getting anything.
I think a little bit of truth to what you said.
Shit.
They'll just tease it out, a little here, a little there, and then nothing.
And I hope everybody just forgets because, like you said, 24-hour news cycle, there's going to be bigger, crazier
Mhm.
shit going on.
There already has. Just look at what did we talk about this?